If this message reaches you, it is meant for you. For anyone seeking inner peace today, you are not the mind. Listen, there comes a moment in every seeker's life when truth begins to reveal itself, not all at once, not dramatically, but softly. Awakening does not arrive like a thunderstorm. It arrives like a breath. It enters your life slowly, silently, gently, almost in a way where you can easily miss it if your mind is too loud. But the fact that you are here, listening now, means something in you has already awakened, something deeper than thought, something older than your memories, something more real than your identity. A silent presence in you has begun to stir. Part 1, open the door. Part 2 is where the journey becomes deeply personal, where the truth begins to touch not just your mind, but your heart. Awakening is not learning something new. It is remembering a truth you have always known but somehow forgot along the way. You may have noticed recent changes within yourself. Maybe small things don't bother you as much. Maybe certain fears that once controlled you feel lighter now. Maybe you respond more slowly, speak more gently, breathe more deeply. Maybe you've begun to sense a quiet space inside you. This is how awakening starts, not with fireworks, but with softness. Let me share a story. Jonathan, a 63-year-old retired firefighter, spent decades running into burning buildings, rescuing strangers, and carrying heavy emotional weight the world rarely sees. After retirement, his body began to slow down. His hands trembled, his knees ached. He realized he could no longer be the strong pillar for everyone as he once was. One evening, he sat by a lake during sunset, something he never did during his working years. He watched the sky turn gold, the water shimmer, the breeze ripple across the surface. And for the first time in years, he felt something shift inside him. I wasn't a firefighter anymore, he said. I wasn't trying to save anyone. I wasn't replaying memories or worrying about the future. I was just here. He called it the first real peace he'd felt in 40 years. This is what Buddha meant by the beginning of insight. What Christ meant by the peace that passes understanding. What Ramana meant by the stillness of the self. What Lao Tzu meant by returning to the way. It is not philosophy. It is experience. Awakening is a shift from living as the mind to living as awareness. The great sages taught that awakening happens in layers. The body is the first layer. The mind is the second. The identity is the third. Awareness is the final. For most of your life, you believed these layers were you. You believed your body was you. But your body has changed constantly. You believed your mind was you. But your thoughts come and go like weather. You believed your identity was you. But every few years your role, personality, and self-image shifted. If everything changes, then what is the unchanging part? It is the awareness watching all the changes. Let us look deeper into these layers. Your body is a gift, a miracle, but it is not who you are. It ages, heals, weakens, strengthens, falls, rises. It is temporary. But awareness, the part of you hearing these words, did not age. Awareness was the same when you were 12, 20, 40, 60. The body changes. Awareness does not. The mind is powerful, but it is not who you are. The mind thinks nonstop, worries, analyzes, imagines, remembers. But you are not the thoughts. You are the one who sees the thoughts. When you watch your thoughts instead of becoming them, you discover a profound truth. The mind is like a river. It flows by itself. You don't have to jump into it. You can sit on the bank and watch it pass. Your identity, your name, your past, your opinions, your regrets, your accomplishments is just a story. A meaningful story, yes, but still a story. Teresa, 58, once said something beautiful. All my life I thought I was the character. Now I feel like I'm the one watching the character. The identity evolves. Awareness does not. And then there is awareness itself, the real you. Awareness is not a thought. It is not an emotion. It is not a belief. It is the silent presence observing every experience of your life. It is the witness behind your eyes, the spaciousness beneath your thoughts, the stillness behind your emotions. Awareness has no age, no shape, no limits. It is pure, open presence. This is the truth the masters tried to teach. Christ said, "I and the Father are one." Buddha spoke of the unconditioned. Ramana spoke of the self. The Upanishads declared, "Thou art that." Rumi said, "I searched for myself and found only God." They were all pointing to awareness. If awakening is so natural, why do humans suffer so deeply? Every master answered the same way. Suffering comes from misidentification. When you think you are the body, every change feels like a threat. When you think you are the mind, every thought becomes overwhelming. When you think you are the identity, every moment of life feels personal. But when you remember you are awareness, the grip of suffering loosens. Imagine watching a movie. If you forget it's a movie, you suffer with every scene. But if you remember you're sitting in a theater, the story becomes meaningful without overwhelming you. Life is the same way. You are not the character. You are the awareness watching the character. One of the most misunderstood spiritual principles is acceptance. People think acceptance means giving up, but acceptance simply means seeing clearly. It doesn't mean you like what is happening. It doesn't mean you agree with it. It means you stop fighting what already is. A 72-year-old man named Paul once said, "Acceptance is when I finally stopped arguing with reality." He had lost people he loved. His children had their own lives. His health wasn't what it used to be. For years he told life, this shouldn't be happening, but life never agreed with him. When he finally stopped resisting, grief softened into wisdom and pain transformed into compassion. The masters spoke often of silence. Not silence as the absence of sound, but silence as the presence of awareness. It is the silence between thoughts, the stillness inside your breath, the quiet awareness beneath all mental noise. Christ prayed in silence. Buddha found enlightenment in silence. Ramana taught mostly in silence. Krishnamurti said truth appears only when the mind is quiet. This silence is not empty. It is full of presence, full of peace, full of clarity. You have felt this silence many times in your life, perhaps without realizing it. When you watched a sunset, when you held a newborn, when you walked alone early in the morning, when you sat beside someone you love, when you stood by the ocean, when music touched your heart. These moments were not random. They were glimpses of your true nature. Let me share another real-life story. Linda, 67, lost her mother after a long illness. She carried deep grief, guilt, and emptiness. One night she sat with her mother's photograph and whispered, "I don't know how to live without you." She didn't hear a voice or see a vision. Instead, she felt a presence vast, peaceful, comforting. She described it as love expanding inside grief. In that moment, she understood something without words. Her mother was never the body. She was awareness, and awareness does not disappear. Grief did not vanish, but it transformed into love. This is awakening. In youth, we search outward. In maturity, we search inward. This is why awakening often happens after 50, not because younger people can't understand it, but because life has prepared you. You have lived enough to see the truth behind the world. You have experienced enough to question the mind. You have lost enough to soften the ego. You have loved enough to recognize the heart. Awakening does not feel dramatic. It feels like things becoming simple. It feels like a gentle opening, a softening of the heart, a quiet knowing, a feeling of returning home, a sense that nothing was ever missing, only overlooked, a sense that all your life something sacred was walking beside you, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice. You begin to realize that the deepest truths are not found in books or teachings, but in your own awareness. You begin to see that peace is not found by changing life, but by changing the way you relate to life. You begin to understand that the voice in your mind is not you. You begin to feel a presence within you, still, quiet, compassionate, that has been guiding you all along. Part 2 of this journey reveals the middle truth. You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are not the identity. You are the awareness behind all experience. Your suffering was never punishment. It was misunderstanding. Your healing is not something you need to earn. It is already inside you. Your awakening is not something new. It is your return to yourself. Part 3 will reveal the final, deepest truth, the truth that dissolves fear, loneliness, and separation completely. You were never seeking the divine. The divine was seeking you, through awareness. If this message touched you, if something inside you feels warmer, lighter, or more open, take a deep breath. And when the moment feels right, subscribe not because you have to, but because we are walking this path together. There is more to discover, more to remember, more to awaken. Be still. And know